I extend to you my most sincere and optimistic wish that we can now unite and work together to build an improved New Mexico.
That was former New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson after he was sworn in more than 20 years ago to take over the state's top office. Tonight, his life and legacy is being remembered as the 75-year-old passed away in his sleep late last night at his home in Massachusetts. Good evening. Across the state and country, many are remembering Bill Richardson and the mark he left not only here in the state of New Mexico, but on the international stage as well. News 13's Gabe Chavez joins us with more on his life and legacy.
Alexa, Bill Richardson is a name known across New Mexico and across the country. His resume dotted with a lifelong service to his state and beyond.
U.S. Congressman, Ambassador, Secretary of Energy, Governor. These are all titles former New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson had held throughout his lifetime. A man dedicated to service, even beyond his time in office.
I'm glad to have worked with him, and I'm glad I knew him, even though we had a bit of a rocky start.
Richardson was born on November 15, 1947 in California. Living in Mexico City and Massachusetts, eventually he settled in Santa Fe in 1978.
I first met Bill in 1978 when I was given the job of going to Santa Fe and telling him that he was not going to get the position he had moved to Santa Fe for as head of the Democratic Party, executive director.
Richardson's political career started in 1983 when he became a congressman representing northern New Mexico, a role he held till 1997. From there, he worked as a UN ambassador for the Clinton administration and later became the U.S. Secretary of Energy.
Well, he was bigger than life.
In 2002, Richardson was elected as the 30th governor for the state of New Mexico, a position his friends say he proudly embraced.
I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of the office of Governor of the state of New Mexico.
He eventually ran for U.S. president during the 2008 campaign, but withdrew from the race. As a two-term governor, Richardson had some notable accomplishments, like funding construction for the Rail Runner and the U.S. first commercial spaceport near TRC. He's also credited for expanding the state's film industry.
One thing that always impressed me about him was that he didn't just look to the next election, okay? He looked further beyond that when he was in office, and he really had an eye for the future, and he saw potentials that were there.
Richardson also pushed legislation that did away with the death penalty in 2008 and changed personal income tax rates.
His first session, he was able to negotiate a significant decrease in the personal income tax, which I thought at the time was a huge accomplishment.
Richardson left his mark on a number of people, like former mayor of Albuquerque, Jim Baca, and former UNM Executive Vice President David Harris, also a friend of current Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham.
My husband died right before I became the Secretary of Health suddenly, and he was kind and compassionate, but really, pushed me to get my life going and go back to work and lead the department. And it's that work that in fact led me to national healthcare reform work that in large part contributed greatly to my elected career and the greatest gift, being a governor of my great state.
Simplemente Nuevo Mexicanos. We're all New Mexicans.
Gabe Chavez, KRQE, News 13.